Welcome to the Goalbusters Expert Peak Productivity Tips podcast, where top business experts get just 7 minutes to answer 5 rapid-fire questions about what they do and how they stay productive. Each episode is packed with actionable insights to help boost your efficiency and achieve your goals. Let's dive in and unlock the secrets to peak performance.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Robin J. Emden and I'm an accountability coach and the author of Get Resultsology, The Science of Getting Stuff Done. I work with people who run their own business. No boss, distractions everywhere and never enough hours in the day. Together we cut through the noise, sharpen their focus and follow through on the big ideas that actually move the needle. That's what I call the momentum formula. Do it today, profit tomorrow, and repeat. So if that sounds like the kind of breakthrough that you've been looking for, then you're in exactly the right place. And speaking of being in exactly the right place, I am delighted to welcome our guest expert today, Amelia Hruby. Amelia is a feminist writer, podcaster, and producer with a PhD in philosophy. She is the founder of Softer Sounds Podcast Studio and the host of Off the Grid, a podcast about leaving social media. Her new book, Your Attention is Sacred Except on Social Media, is out in fall 2025, or as us Brits say, autumn. But we also say 2025. Amelia, welcome to Goalbusters.
Thanks so much for having me, Robin. I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy you're here too. And whereabouts in the world are you, Amelia?
I am zooming in from Lincoln, Nebraska, which is right in the center of the US.
Fantastic. And as we established before we started recording, I have no idea where that is, but I can work out where the center of something is by simple arithmetic, I guess. Anyway, that's me waffling on. Shall we do the questions instead?
Yeah, let's get to it.
Okay, I'll get the clock up on the screen and there it goes. Amelia, could you tell me, please, who is your ideal client?
My ideal clients are small business owners and artists and coaches who want to quit social media, maybe for a while, maybe forever, but they don't think they can because of their business. They're stuck in this sort of cycle of not liking social media, whether that be Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whatever they're on. And they want to leave, but they don't really see how that's possible since they're running a small business. And then some of my ideal clients are already off social media, or they just ghosted their profile forever ago, and they're looking for marketing ideas and community support to keep growing their business and sharing their work without these platforms. So if you're a social media skeptic or you just have a lot of big feelings about it, then you're probably one of my ideal clients.
Ooh, okay, that sounds fascinating. Probably more fascinating than I care to admit to right now, because I need to move on to the second question, which is you've mentioned it in some detail there, but perhaps you could expand on exactly what is the problem or problems that you solve for these people.
Yeah, the problem that I really dig into all the time on my podcast and in my teaching is essentially all of the icky, sticky feelings that come up around social media and sort of demystifying what social media actually does for our business and what it really fails to do for our business. So I help people step back or away from social media platforms, and then I teach them how to share their work and make money online without social media. And I host some very cool community spaces for that, because one of the biggest problems when you step away from social media is feeling isolated or feeling like you're kind of on your own out there. And so I found that the problem is social media that we're solving, but then community becomes a big part of the answer.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. What you can't see right now is that I'm itching to ask you about 200 extra questions, but I can't because the format won't let me. So I'll move on to the third question, which will answer some of my questions, which is, what is one valuable free action that the audience can implement that will help them to solve these problems?
Yeah, so here is where I want to offer a brief practice to everyone listening. So, if you are still on social media, but you've tuned into this episode, I'm guessing because you have, at the very least, some ambivalent feelings about it. So, I want to give you a practice to begin noticing and surfacing those feelings and just getting clear on what's really happening with your social media experience. So, I've started calling this a scroll audit, which is maybe not the sexiest name, but I'll rename it eventually. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to grab your phone and a piece of paper and pen, so your phone and something to write with, and then you're going to set a timer for 5 minutes. You're going to start the timer and open your social media app of choice, whether that's Instagram, TikTok, X, Blue Sky, Threads, whatever it is for you. Open the app that you get the most sort of sucked into and then start scrolling. And as you scroll, every time you pause to look at something or read it or watch it, you're going to pick up your pen and write down what you saw and how you felt. And this should just be a sort of top of mind experience. We're not digging deep yet. We're just noticing. You write it down, you go back to the scroll. You keep scrolling. The next time you pause to watch something, you write down what you saw and how you felt. And you do that for 5 minutes. Then, when your timer goes off, you close the app and you review your notes. And typically, I advise people do this like at some different times of day, maybe with different apps, and you sort of build this catalog of what you're seeing on social media and how it's impacting your emotional landscape. And I have found, with hundreds of clients and thousands of conversations about social media now, that clarity is so important to making a decision for what comes next for you and your social platforms. So try out the scroll audit, set your timer, make your notes, and then read through them and just notice, what are you really seeing? How are you really feeling? And if you're already off social media, you don't need to do a scroll audit. And so my one valuable free action for you would be to start an email list, but that's a whole other longer conversation.
Indeed it is. And scroll audit, surely that's a scroll it.
Oh, that also sounds uncomfortable. So I need a better name for this.
So moving on, that's a fantastic answer. Fascinating. All right. So now that we have a better understanding of what you do, Amelia, let's dive briefly into goal busting, which is focusing on how to maximize productive time, which is really what we're talking about anyway, to achieve your business goals. Could you share any other tips, because I'm being greedy, or advice for someone looking to improve their productivity habits?
So, the best tip that I have ever found personally for my productivity, honestly, was to abandon most productivity advice and give myself permission to work however I want. And what I found when I did that is I did all sorts of things that no one would advise, like I would work for 10-hour blocks, or I would totally take 6 days off of a project, or I would be up in the middle of the night doing something. But if I let myself actually follow my energy and my desire, I was the most creatively productive I've ever been. So that's my personal advice. My other professional tip is to get off social media, step back or away from these apps, put your phone down. That's always going to help you be more productive.
Fantastic. And I'm much relieved to think that in my book about productivity, I actually do mention you really need to just do what works for you. That is the critical point. So, phew. Okay. All right. So finally, what should I have asked you today, Amelia, that I didn't? And your answer, please.
So the question I'm always grappling with that we haven't asked today is why leave social media? And I have three answers for this. Number one, leave social media because it feels bad. If it feels bad for you. If it feels bad, you don't need to be there. So don't. Number two, it doesn't work. Leave social media because you realize it's not actually bringing you the clients or the audience or the exposure or whatever it is you want. The friends maybe aren't coming from there. So leave for that reason. And number three, leave social media because perhaps you, like me, have a growing awareness of all the harm that these big tech platforms are doing to the world and to many of our communities. And you don't want to be a part of that. So, yeah, those are my three reasons for leaving social media if you're already thinking you might be on your way out.
Fantastic. And I'm so pleased that we have the final question open-ended like that, because those questions were hanging there and you went straight in and answered them beautifully for us, and all within the 7 minutes to the second. Thank you so much, Amelia. It's been brilliant. So now I sold you beforehand, I've got a two-part question. I've actually got a three-part question for you, which I always ask at this point, or the third part I don't always ask. The part A is, how can people reach you? Part B is there like a valuable free resource that they can get from you? And as I always say, that's a cheeky thing to ask, but I'm not really being cheeky. I think it's a fantastic way of people finding out more about what you do and what your offer is, and then they can get in touch with you once they're feeling a little bit more confident. Part C is right at the beginning. We mentioned, or you mentioned in your bio that you asked me to read out for you, that your new book is called Your Attention is Sacred Except on Social Media. I'd love it if you could give us a little heads up on when that's coming out and what it will, and a little bit more information about it, if you don't mind.
Yes, of course. So you can connect with me at offthegrid.fun, which you'll find in any internet browser, or you can listen to my podcast, Off the Grid, Leaving Social Media, which you can get anywhere you get your podcasts. I share episodes every Wednesday. I have great guests. I chat solo on the mic. I would love for you to tune in if you enjoyed this conversation I've had with Robin. If you are interested in leaving social media yourself and you want some resources or just some inspiration on that journey, I would love to offer you the free Leaving Social Media Toolkit. This is a resource I created based on my own experience of leaving social media when I quit being a micro influencer, closed down one business, left the platforms, and then totally started a new business, a new podcast, and really a new life. So you can get that toolkit at offthegrid.fun/toolkit. It has been downloaded over 4,000 times. People love it and return to it again and again. At least that's what they tell me. And I'd love to tell you about my book. So it's called Your Attention is Sacred Except on Social Media. I have self-published it and it came out October 1st through my website. So I'm selling it myself for 2 months, and then December 1st, it'll be available through all major retailers. So it'll be distributed there shortly. And for your listeners in the UK or who are not based in the US, there are ebook versions available to you, but I'm not personally shipping internationally for all of the tariff-based reasons you can imagine. But starting December 1st, should be available to ship through major retailers. So you can find that at yourattentionissacred.com.
Yeah, I told you shouldn't have put that steel cover on it. That was a big mistake, wasn't it? Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? Amelia, that's fantastic. And if over 4,000, there'll be over 4,001 as soon as this call we hang up, because I'm definitely going to get that as well. That sounds fascinating. And it would take another podcast, but I cannot begin to tell you what my own feelings are about social media in the time that we have here today. But I think you've probably heard them all before, and many more besides. Amelia Hruby, that has been a real masterclass and a fascinating insight, actually. You know, as you know, you are swimming against the tide of what a lot of people recommend in the marketing world. I both respect that and I understand it, and I can also see, actually I said both, but our third point is I can see the value in it too. So I very much hope people do take a look at what you do. I'm certainly going to. I think it's fascinating. Amelia Hruby, thank you so much for being on Goalbusters today.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. And remember, everybody, keep goal busting and make your future self proud. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Goalbusters. If you're enjoying it, please subscribe, rate and review it on your favourite podcast platform. Your support is very much appreciated. And if you're ready to boost your online profits, skyrocket your productivity, crush procrastination, and see a positive change in your bank balance, all within just 30 days, this is your opportunity. Take my free 5-day challenge at www.skyrocketyourproductivitychallenge.com.